Welcome back to Otaku no Video. As always, thank you very much for joining me. Where today I am reviewing Taisho Baseball Girls, aka Taisho Yakkyu Musume, an anime series from 2010, if I recall correctly. 12 episodes based on a couple of light novels, set in 1920s Japan, where a bunch of junior high school girls decide to form a baseball club, baseball team. Now, back in 1920s Japan, girls weren't supposed to run. Ever. Like, even in the street, that was considered unladylike. Moreover, like, there were no high schools for girls yet, or very few. And even sending your daughter to junior high school was pretty progressive. In fact, there are quite a few girls at this school who don't wear school uniforms, or seifuku, because that's considered too modern, or too progressive for a lot of families. And just, I'm already sending you to junior high school. That's, impressive enough. So imagine girls in that age, deciding to start a baseball team. Yeah, pretty impressive. So this is basically three things all at once. It is a shoujo series. It's pretty clearly aimed at young teen girls. There's no fan service, no panty shots, things like that. It's also a sports anime because of the baseball angle. It's also a moe series. I mean, it spends a lot of time focusing on the characters. And what's nice is because it's kind of both shoujo and moe, and because it's trying to be historically accurate, there's not a lot of the creepiness that you get in a lot of moe series. That's nice. One other nice thing about the series is the art. Now, the art is always on model in this series. By on model, we've all seen anime series where the characters are occasionally just drawn kind of awkwardly, and his eyes are kind of too small, or just they'll turn their head and it just looks a little weird, or whatever. That does not happen in Taisho Baseball Girls. Completely consistent art. Now, not a lot of frames of animation. It's clear they did not have a big animation budget for this. But it's enough, and it never looks cheap. There are some shots where they are clearly conserving their animation budget in terms of characters talking to each other. But they always do that in a way that is artistic and works. Also, the baseball action sequences are very fluid, and when characters are batting or pitching or whatever, there are plenty of frames of animation in that. So it never looks cheap, and there's no shortcuts there. Now, the direction overall has a lot of close-ups. One of the reasons why I think it's sort of a moe series is because it focuses a lot on that artwork and sort of close-ups of the characters' faces. And the overall sort of editing and quality of action is pretty steady. It moves, I would say, slower than the average series in terms of pacing, particularly in terms of shot pacing. But that's not a value judgment. It's just slower than average. It's kind of a more laid-back series. One thing I like about it also is the fact that the personalities feel very accurate for girls of this age, in this age, where in 1920s Japan, by the time you're a young teenage girl, you're expected to already be something of a young lady. So you're not kind of still a child, basically, by societal standards, the way it is today. So you get characters who are in many ways more mature than girls would be today, but also still unformed. They're still only 13, 14 years old. Particularly, there's one girl who's 13 years old. That's a big thing. I mean, and I say that because at this point, several of the girls are already betrothed. Their families have already betrothed them to older boys. Yeah, and again, one of the things I like about this series is that that's a plot point. But the series doesn't try to make a lot of moral statements about whether that is right or wrong. Like, it doesn't make any moral statements about that. That's just the way things are. So, now, of course, over the course of the story, it becomes an ensemble story about all of these girls. And so you get to sort of see how all of them react to this sort of baseball team being formed. The voice acting overall, certainly it works. Now, when it was brought over to North America, there's no English dub on this North American release, and understandably so. This is a pretty niche kind of a series. It's not going to get a huge audience. Sports anime almost never does over in the Americas. And so I think the expense of getting in the voice actors for an English dub wouldn't be justified. The Japanese dub is certainly very effective, and there are a couple of moments where a character's voice will break at just the right moment, and just quite impressive with that score. Now, the plot overall, it's a sports anime series. There are no huge surprises, although there was one thing at the end that did surprise me. There were some plot twists overall that I didn't totally see coming, but they're pretty typical shoujo and sports kind of plot twists. So, again, nothing too surprising, but it moves quite nicely, and it's not completely paint by numbers. As I mentioned before, it is certainly designed to be accurate to the time, and I really appreciate that. Actually, this feels like a window back into 1920s Japan, a time of a lot of changes in Japan, and one that's not very well documented in anime in general. I also want to mention the music. Lovely music in this, which is certainly appropriate to the times. Kind of bubbly and effervescent for those shoujo moments, and kind of lyrical and lilting. And then for the baseball sequences, it's charging and powerful, but not overpowering. So, good work there. Overall, it's a series about appropriate empowerment for young girls. And one thing I appreciate is the overall tone. It's not trying to be about boys and girls at loggerheads, although that's certainly a theme, and that's certainly something that comes up in the series. Overall, the staff is not trying to say that girls are better than boys, or that girls should be trying to defeat boys. It's saying that girls and boys are different, and that girls deserve the same kind of opportunities that boys have. That girls should be able to try the same kinds of things that boys can try, and that it's not about proving anything about the genders. Indeed, the genders are different. So that's that, or the sexes, I suppose. So again, something I appreciated about the series. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Taisho Baseball Girls. If you want to watch it, please stop by streamsuki.com, which is an index I've made that automatically indexes hundreds of free legal anime streams out there on the internet. And if you want to talk about interesting anime like Taisho Baseball Girls, please stop by otakunovideo.net, where I have a forum where we chat about interesting stuff like this. So hope you join us there, and until next time, thanks for watching. With a crocodile?